Hi, guys. Good evening. Happy Friday, and welcome to another edition of the OpIndia podcast. Thank you to everyone who is joining us live, and thank you to everyone who is going to be watching us later. We appreciate everyone. My name is Sham Sharma, and I am joined as usual by Kushal Mehra. Kushal, how are you?
Hey Sham, hi everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Really looking forward to today's discussion because the topics we're going to cover today are actually my personal favorites. These are issues that I really want to get into.
All right. So, without further ado, let's jump right into some of these issues. There are some. You're right. There's some very interesting topics here to cover. So, let's cover one, which which is actually something we can debate upon. So, let's give you the background कि भाई हुआ क्या इस टॉपिक में. तो सबसे पहले अभी रिसेंटली कपिल सिब्बल जी हैं, उन्होंने ट्वीट किया सेडिशन लॉ के बारे में. तो मैं ये ट्वीट आपके साथ शेयर करता हूं. तो दिस इज द ट्वीट. Kapil Sibal came on and tweeted, said, scrap the sedition law, which is section 124A of the IPC, which is a colonial hangover. उतने से पेट नहीं भरा उनका. उसके बाद वो निकल के आए. Real sedition is when those in power manipulate institutions, misuse the law, breach peace and security by inciting violence. Punish them in 2019. Sarkar badlo, desh bachao. So basically, this is the tweet that he came out and he said. Now, we're going to have, there's two things that we can discuss about this. Pehli cheez hai, we can discuss the virtue signaling by Kapil Sibal and the Congress party on the sedition bill. Let's discuss that first. There's another aspect of it that I want to discuss after this. But पहले हम लोग discuss करते हैं कि it is very interesting कि कपिल सिब्बल और कांग्रेस पार्टी आके लोगों को ज्ञान दे रहे हैं और लोगों को सिखा रहे हैं कि भाई सेडिशन बिल कितना खराब है, सेडिशन बिल मत यूज किया करो, सेडिशन बिल हमें हटाना है. It's very interesting to me because Anand Ranganathan, who is one person who can always be trusted to provide a very interesting thread on Twitter, he posted recently how there were close to 8,000 examples of the sedition law being applied on people during the UPA rule. And there are plenty of examples that we'll go through. Kushal Bhai will go through some of them as well. But I personally find it so very amusing that that's somebody like Kapil Sibal, who is the Minister of Law and Justice in UPA 2, who did not take any steps to abolish this law and is now, teaching other people and virtue signaling about this law to other people in the BJP. So I want to ask you, Kushal Bhai, first of all, before we go much more into the detail of this, how short how short do you think the memory of people is? Do people really forget what the Congress party did in terms of the sedition law? Do you think people really forget it that easily?
Honestly, I don't even think people know the details of what a sedition law is. And see, this is a problem. When people are charged or jailed in India or in any country for that matter, how does one read an article? Let's say we'll take this article which Anand had shared about how the Dalit activist and editor Sudhir Dhawde was charged under section 124, which is the Sedition Act, and he spent 40 months in jail. By the way, Kapil Sibal was the law minister then.
Yep.
So, you can click the article. The article does mention he's been charged under sedition. But the point is, it doesn't register. If you look at it, if you are an average guy, आप पढ़ रहे हो, हाँ ठीक है, किसी को जेल में डाला, उसने कुछ तो बोला, you'll just read it and you'll forget. So I really don't blame the Janta about what kind of a memory they have. But what is clear is the question the Janta should have asked Kapil Sibal, and many people have asked. It's not that people have not asked this. How dare you actually even talk about it? It's not that why are you speaking? How dare you should have been the question. Boss, Congress has been governing. I hate the word ruling. This BJP is ruling India. This is not a freaking monarchy. We are a democracy. People govern you. They don't rule you. So Congress has governed India for at least 55 years. 55 plus years Congress has governed India. भाई आपने क्यों नहीं निकाला ये सेडिशन लॉ? आपकी अंतरात्मा सडनली जागी. And look who's talking. Kapil Sibal is the man who came up with that dreaded IT law 66A. So struck down by the courts. So I mean, what I was thinking when Kapil Sibal made that tweet was first LOL. Really, it was like, हाँ ये क्या बात कर रहा है? But चलो ठीक है, उसके आगे जाएं. Let us take another case. Yeah, I don't know how many people remember. Utpal Dutt was charged under sedition. Guess who was in power?
Yep.
Congress. Then I remember this case particularly very well is because I was part of that whole India against corruption at that time, and Asim Trivedi was also associated. Asim Trivedi abhi bhi wo case ke andar sad raha hai. He was also charged under sedition.
Yep.
So I don't get it. Do people have short memories? Absolutely. I believe, especially, in the age of social media where you are bombarded, believe me, even this tweet of Kapil Sibal will be forgotten in the next week. What do you think?
I also think as well the timing of the tweet is also very important. इनकी जो अंतरात्मा है ये इतने टाइम से 4 साढ़े 4 साल हो गए तब भी नहीं जागी. अब जाग रही है कि इनकी अंतरात्मा जब ये बेसिकली ये बैकग्राउंड ऑफ दिस ट्वीट इज कि ये जो टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग है जो चीख रहे थे चिल्ला रहे थे कि भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे इंशाअल्लाह इंशाअल्लाह और छीन के लेंगे आजादी जेएनयू के कैंपस पे कुछ साल पहले, उस रिलेशन में इन लोगों इस टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग को चार्ज किया गया है. तो इन पे कपिल सिब्बल बाबा की आत्मा जागी है और इनकी आत्मा फड़की है और अब ये अंग अंग इनका फड़क रहा है और अब ये आके लोगों को ज्ञान दे रहे हैं कि भाई सेडिशन लॉ हमको हटाना चाहिए. और जस्ट टू गिव यू अ क्विक एग्जांपल इज क्विक बैकग्राउंड ऑन द 66A जो कुशल भाई ने अभी बताया. 66A के बारे में आप ये सुन लो. 66A is a law where if you post anything offensive on Twitter, quotes in quotes offensive, so you can decide what offensive is, people can decide what offensive is. If you post something offensive on Twitter or on any kind of social media, you can be jailed for 3 years. आप कुछ उल्टा सीधा आपने अगर कोई मीम बना ली मान लो, people make a lot of memes and a lot of times people say oh memes equals violence. First of all, memes do not equal violence, but still maybe you made a meme on someone, they found it offensive, government finds it offensive, the government can throw you in jail for 3 years. This is the kind of draconian law that these people have passed, and then they are coming and lecturing other people ki bhai this is a colonial hangover. Abhay, you are a colonial power yourself. The way you act, the kind of laws you pass, you act like a colonial power yourself, and then you're telling people what a colonial hangover is. Kya mazak ho rakha hai? And what's his name? Asim Trivedi as well. There are more examples. There was in 2012 again when UPA was in power, when Hamare Chacha Jan, what's his name, Kapil Sibal was the law minister. In 2012, sedition charges were filed against nearly 7,000 villagers who were protesting against the Kundakulam nuclear plant in Tamil Nadu. तो इस तरह से तो there's blanket मतलब 7,000 लोगों के ऊपर सेडिशन लॉ इन्होंने लगा दिया और अभी आके लोगों को ज्ञान दे रहे हैं. तो I don't know. I think it's amazing. I think I agree कि people's memory बहुत छोटी है, लोगों का memory बहुत छोटी है, and लोग most likely इस tweet के बारे में भी भूल जाएंगे. But मुझे बात करनी थी. Let's discuss the sedition law itself as well and the aspect of free speech. बहुत लोग बोल रहे हैं कि अरे जो उमर खालिद है, कन्हैया कुमार है, जो टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग है, ये तो देशभक्त हैं, ये तो असली देशभक्त हैं. इन देशभक्तों के ऊपर इस तरह के इस तरह का चार्ज क्यों लगा है? तो देखिए इसमें भी 2 चीजें आती हैं. पहली चीज इसमें यह है कि ये 2 चीजें बोल रहे थे. पहली चीज ये बोल रहे थे कि भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे इंशाअल्लाह इंशाअल्लाह और छीन के लेंगे आजादी. दूसरी चीज ये बोल रहे थे कि भाई अफजल हम शर्मिंदा हैं, तेरे कातिल जिंदा हैं. दूसरी चीज पे पहले आते हैं. अफजल हम शर्मिंदा हैं, तेरे कातिल जिंदा हैं, एंड यूलोजाइजिंग a convicted terrorist. It is a horrible thing to do. It makes you a horrible person. But as far as I think this is part of free speech. I think you should be able to say this, even though it makes you a horrible person. अब पहली चीज पे आते हैं. भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे इंशाअल्लाह इंशाअल्लाह एंड छीन के लेंगे आजादी. अगर आपने कम्युनिस्टों की हिस्ट्री को जरा सा भी फॉलो किया है तो आप ये अच्छी भांति जानते हैं कि भाई कम्युनिस्टों का मोडस ऑपरेंडी क्या है, कम्युनिस्ट किस तरह से ऑपरेट करते हैं. द कम्युनिस्ट्स आर नॉट अवर्स टू पिकिंग अप वेपन्स एंड पिकिंग अप आर्म्स एंड मीटिंग देयर गोल्स थ्रू एन आर्म्ड इंसरेक्शन. तो when the communists say छीन के लेंगे आजादी और भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे, they are not saying it figuratively. they are not saying ये मजाक में हवा में पुलाव हवा ख्याली पुलाव नहीं बना रहे हैं. These are very real things that the communists are not averse to. We are seeing it in the Naxal movement in India right now. So that is something, that is an incitement to violence, that is an incitement to raising arms. So I feel like there is something there. Wahan pe you can take punitive action against those people. And Kushal bhai, we were talking about this before, and you had a very interesting point of view on both of these issues as well. So why don't you run through both of these topics? The first topic of eulogizing a terrorist, and the other topic of asking for an armed revolution.
This issue, I have a slightly different view on this. Usually, I mean, everybody knows my stand. I'm actually one of the more vocal ones when it comes to free speech online. I'm slightly torn on this one. I'll be honest to admit that, because I have been clear in my life when it comes to free speech. The only line that I believe that cannot be crossed is a direct incitement to violence. Now, if we were to see, I'm no lawyer. First thing I'm going to admit is I'm no lawyer. I philosophize. I like to philosophize. I think with any issue that is presented to me every time in my life, I just look at it from a very philosophical point of view, nothing else. So I was thinking deeply about this, and I've been thinking about this a long time. Now, I agree with you. The second part, Afzalam Sharminda, Tere Qatil Zinda Hai, no matter how much I find it cringeworthy, should be allowed under free speech laws. I think hate speech naam ki koi cheez hoti nahi hai, because it's very hard to define what is hateful. Like, what do we do? Tomorrow we say, I hate Tinda. So what is that? Hate speech? I mean, you're hating
He doesn't like Tinda.
I mean, देखो, वो हो सकती है प्रॉब्लम. एंड कंसीडरिंग इंडिया में लोगों को डाल भी देंगे, कोई भरोसा नहीं है हमारे देश में. तो ये एक प्रॉब्लम थी सेकंड पार्ट की. दैट इज, आई थिंक दैट इज समथिंग दैट कम्स अंडर हेट स्पीच, एंड आई थिंक हेट स्पीच नाम की कोई चीज होती नहीं. The second part is when you said, Bharat tere tukde honge, inshallah, inshallah. Now there are two arguments in this. People usually use, they use the European argument every time I am having a discussion with them. They throw the, how in Europe you cannot deny that the Holocaust did not happen, because they always cite the historical perspective. So they have basically made it, a punishable offense that you cannot deny the Holocaust. Similarly, in India, I have heard my friends in the non-left and the left at times too, some of my friends in the left too make this case. They say that जब भारत के टुकड़े होंगे तो वो कैसे होंगे. अभी कोई भी आएगा भजन कीर्तन करके तो टुकड़े करने नहीं वाले हैं. ऐसा नहीं होगा ना, कोई नगाड़ा बजाएंगे चलो जी अलग हो गए. Usually partitions, at least in the case of India, there are two clear-cut cases of partition in India. One is when India and Pakistan got divided in 1947. There was a lot of bloodshed involved then. Then obviously Pakistan got divided, East Pakistan and West Pakistan got divided. Bangladesh की स्थापना हुई, and Bangladesh की स्थापना के लिए भी बहुत खून बरसाया गया. But the point that in my head that I find very difficult is that, see, every time in the court of law, we have to prove intent. That I have the intent of, violence. I don't know whether in this case also, ki Bharat Tere Tukde Honge, inshallah, inshallah, can be shown as a case of intent of violence. And I know I'm going to rile a lot of people up, but think peacefully. Now let's
think of the Chhin ke lenge azadi part.
Chhin ke lenge azadi could be construed as violence, but what can be clearly construed as violence is the statement that they have made, and I find it funny, even the non-left does not talk about it. They said banduk se lenge azadi. Now that cannot be allowed. But having said that, you don't need a sedition law to disallow banduk se lenge azadi. My point is, see, whenever we make laws in a country, laws are not, see, I don't get it, this political partisanship that we have in India or in anywhere in the world. Actually, people don't look at laws as something that is applicable to everyone. Every time we discuss laws now, people bring in emotions like ये तो नहीं होना चाहिए, but they only have a problem with the law, or they support the law depending on the situation and the person being accused and the point being raised. So it's like, if Hinduism is criticized, then there is a certain section in India that has a problem with that starts supporting 295A. Then when Islam is criticized, there is a certain section in India that starts supporting 295A. But the point is, people are going to be punished under laws, and the sedition law is another such case. Boss, recently in Northeast, आपको पता है वो जो जर्नलिस्ट जो जेल में गया है अंडर द बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट आए, उसके ऊपर सेडिशन का भी केस मारा गया. अभी उसने क्या सेडिशन की है? The point is, this law is garbage. It's an old law. It should not be there on the statute books. You can make enough laws outside the realm of the sedition law, which can clearly take care of these problems. What happens in India is, I'm sorry, Indian politicians have convinced the masses on social media. Boss, the Garib Admi of India does not understand these things. Let me tell you very honestly. You go to a Garib Admi and say, "Bhai, law क्या होना चाहिए?" बोलता है, "Boss, मेरा पहले तू मेरा रोटी कपड़ा मकान दे. ये तेरे highfalutin discussions से मेरे को दुखी ना कर." They are patriots. They like the nation. All that is okay, but they will not really have an opinion on. They won't even probably know there is a sedition law or not. Is my point of view. At least in my work in rural India, I asked them. They didn't know what laws exist. They know social welfare schemes. That's all they know. Because that's their modus operandi is, what do I get out of the government? And we can have a debate on that on some other day. But the point is, this is the typical, Hindi speaking, English speaking, social media discussion. I'm talking about that. Now, this section of the society has to realize that draconian laws are going to affect you. At the end of the day, the sedition law could be used against you. Why would you want to arm the Indian state with extraordinary powers like this? I mean, have you read the law? People should go and read the sedition law in India.
They should also read another one we talked about is Article 66A of the IT Act. Go read that as well. Go read that and see what kind of a law that is also.
But it's not that. See, my worry is if we start supporting draconian laws, it will bite us too. I totally agree with the sentiment that how can you allow बंदूक से लेके आजादी? मतलब क्या बंदूक के साथ डांडिया तो खेलने नहीं वाले हम लोग? There is a clear-cut intent there. So that should be nabbed. And let us take the case in America also. People will throw back this classic case that they have a Patriot Act. I think the best way to deal with these kinds of elements is how the Americans deal with. तुमको जो बोलना है बोलो, हमको जो करना है हम कर देंगे. They don't talk about it. They do it. See, if the Indian state goes and nabs people who are going to harm the Indian state violently, I got no issues there. I say it openly. I'm very hawkish when it comes to national security. I'm a hawk. I might be libertarian in a lot of issues, but when it comes to national security, I'm very hawkish because India lives in a hostile neighborhood. I mean, we are messed up from all sides. So let's be very clear. National security is of paramount importance. My point is, let us have less number of laws on the statute book because these laws can hurt the innocent citizen who is actually pro-India, who is actually humane, who may have problems with the government, but don't give the government so many powers that the government is going to mess with us. And I know most people will not agree with me. And especially in the non-left, my opinion is not going to be popular. But the point is, I am personally torn on this law because I have seen this. I mean, this was the law that was used against Asim Trivedi. He drew a nasty cartoon.
I don't think people are going to be necessarily against you with the opinion that you're showing right now. Because what you're saying is not ki the people who are saying banduk se chhin ke lenge azadi, that they shouldn't be prosecuted, that they shouldn't be stopped. What you're saying ki we need a streamlining of the sort of laws that we have in our country. We don't need 10 different laws for one crime. We don't need, agar aapne ek crime kiya, we don't need to charge you with 10 laws. We can just charge you with one law, put you in jail, take care of the issue that way. I think that's the kind of point that you're making as well, right?
And look at the laws. Look at the way laws are drafted in India. That's what my worry is. Every single law, whether it's 295A, whether it's 153A, whether it's section 124, which is the sedition case, whether it was 66A, I mean, you have a freaking kite flying act in India, yaar. Mazak laga ke rakha hua hai. We have a national pastime. For the first time in my law, in my life, when I actually sat down and I wrote something meaningful, was something titled "India's Obsession is Writing New Laws or Making New Laws." Every time a politician comes in India, it does not matter what the political party is, they play law. Their favorite game is "Aao naya law banaye." and they keep on shoving us with laws and they say, देखा मैंने ये law बनाया. I mean, look at the rest of the world. And there is this left-wing fetish, you know, law के ऊपर law बनाओ, law के ऊपर law बनाओ. और फिर होता क्या है, आपने statute books में वो law छोड़ दिए. अब मरे, आपने इतनी powerful state बना दी है, आपकी state आपकी हर चीज में involved है. And I'm not going to give that example which I shared with you offline because I want to talk about that in a separate segment in the next podcast. But you know what I was talking about to you just now about the employee law that was the bill just passed in Lok Sabha. It's a joke. The fetish in India about, you know, putting everything under the law shows to me that the Indian state, and I'm not talking about Congress or BJP, the Indian state looks down upon its populace. The lawmakers in India think they are some sort of, you know, big daddy is of some kind, or, you know, and the aam janta is jahil, and in jahilon ko tame karna hai. Societies where the people in power think that their aam janta is jahil behave like this. I'm very clear about this.
I think there's also an aspect that I think भारत में भी लोग ऐसे हैं जो ये सोचते हैं कि अगर लॉ बनाने का मतलब हुआ कि काम हो रहा है, or look, there's something happening, work is happening, you know, some important work is happening. I think a lot of people see whenever a new law is passed, people see it as, oh, look how active the government is, or look how hard the government is working. I think there's a bit of a confusion around that as well, that people think passing laws is the same thing as doing work, which I think people need to move away a little bit from that mentality as well, which is, I think, leading us to having so many laws for, you know, so few for a certain number of issues. So there's that's one thing. I think streamlining of, you know, all these disparate laws that we have is another thing. And thirdly, again, like we mentioned before, just so people don't forget, it's very rich for Congress party and Kapil Sibal to come and lecture people on who should or who shouldn't pass or remove such laws, because they've, like Kushal mentioned, that they had 55 plus years to get rid of those laws. They did nothing. And for 4.5 years, they spoke nothing. Now, when it's politically convenient, they're coming out and saying, ki, "Are kitna kharab law hai, law ko hatao, please, let's get rid of this law." So let's, sorry, go ahead, Kushal bhai.
Yeah, I want to use another example so that people get even more clarity. I'm going to use the history of free speech in America. How a lot of people will not remember. Actually, America mein free speech, absolutism is not very, you know, old phenomena. People will be surprised. ये last 40-50 सालों में ये सब चेंज हो गया है. मैं आपको बताता हूँ इसकी हिस्ट्री. फ्री स्पीच के ऊपर सबसे ज्यादा प्रेशर आना शुरू हुआ स्टैंड अप कॉमिक्स से. So there was this stand-up comic called Lenny Bruce. I don't know how many people know this stand-up comic, but I will insist आप जाके उसको सुनो. वो 1960s में था. Lenny Bruce क्लब्स में जाना शुरू हुआ और उसने लाइंस क्रॉस की, ऑब्सीनिटी की, डिस्गस्ट मैकेनिज्म्स ट्रिगर किए लोगों के, उसको जेल में डाला गया था तभी. उसके बाद I'm sure if people must have heard, I'm not going to use the 7 words obviously on this medium, but there is a famous stand-up set of probably my favorite all-time stand-up comic called George Carlin. Now, George Carlin had the 7 words you can't say on television. I'm not going to say the 7 words, but that led to a huge furor at that time in the United States of America, and George Carlin was also jailed. I remember him being lifted from a live gig and taken to jail. That's how big a thing it was at that time. But that led to a court case which obviously clarified what free speech means in India, or in America, I'm sorry. I think when it comes to laws in India, the Supreme Court does not define the limits. The Parliament will never define this. Supreme Court has to say what are the limits, where can we apply sedition categorically, where free speech is allowed. What we as citizens of India, it does not matter if you're a Congress supporter, AAP supporter, BJP supporter, BSP supporter, हम सबको साथ में कोर्ट्स को और लेजिस्लेचर को हमारे लॉज को फाइन ट्यून करने को फोर्स करना पड़ेगा. कुछ केसेस में तो लॉज को स्टैट्यूट बुक से हटा देना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से, जैसे 295A, 153A ना, आर्टिकल 2 जो अमेंडमेंट टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, उनको हटा के हमारे फ्री स्पीच लॉस को तो हमको टोटली नया करना पड़ेगा. अगर आपको सेडिशन को रखना भी है स्टैट्यूट बुक्स में, इट हैज टू बी वेरी क्रिस्प एंड क्लियर कि ये सेडिशन है, नहीं तो इनोसेंट सिटीजंस विल गो ऑन गेटिंग जेल्ड इन इंडिया depending on the flavor of the evening and the political party of that time.
That's true. I think that's a good point to make. I think it's a fair point. I think that's something that we all need to take into account. And that brings me. So let's move on to the next issue as well. अगला issue हमारा भी interesting है because पता नहीं पिछले पिछले podcast पे हमने ये discuss किया था that a high-powered committee which was headed by PM Modi, senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge, Justice Sikhri, who was the Chief Justice Gogoi's nominee, they removed Alok Verma as the director of CBI. And when I say removed, I don't mean fired. He was transferred. He has the same salary and the same perks. But he was just transferred. On top of that, so a Central Vigilance Commission, Central Vigilance Committee, came out with a report on the allegations against Mr. Verma as well. And Justice Patnaik was appointed as the supervisor of this CVC to make sure that the probe was fair and that Alok Verma got adequate opportunity to present his side, right? So now the Central Vigilance Commission found in its report that there was some grave misconduct on the part of Alok Verma. The CVC also went on to say that some of the allegations on Alok Verma were regarded as prima facie established. Okay? So these grave allegations against Verma included a cover-up in the Nirav Modi scam, a dilution of the lookout circular against fraud-accused Vijay Mallya, fabricating various documents, and leaking documents related to the Aircel Maxis case. So these are very big and very damning observations that have been made against Mr. Alok Verma. And the CVC has made these recommendations. And then Justice Patnaik, who was presiding over or supervising this probe, he has also said that the probe is fair and transparent. So everything has happened by the book so far, if you're following the story. Lekin, ये होने के बाद ही, the people that were calling for Alok Verma's head initially, अब ये लोग आके, they're changing the story, they're reversing the narrative. So Mallikarjun Kharge अब आके खड़क रहे हैं. He's saying that there is a conspiracy at the highest levels of the government with the statutory authorities being found complicit. So this is the first argument that the leftists are making. The second argument that they're making is that a lot of media houses have come out and they are publishing articles. They're saying that Justice Patnaik has told all of these different media houses that there is no evidence against Verma regarding the corruption. And then he's also saying that they are also saying that these media houses, that Justice Patnaik had come and told them that none of the findings in the CVC report are mine. तो दूसरी बात को पहले देखते हैं. Justice Patnaik was not appointed to present findings. Justice Patnaik was appointed to make sure that the CVC probe was fair. That's it. He was not supposed to present any findings of his own. Secondly, as far as the issue of Justice Patnaik telling all these media houses that there's no evidence against Verma with regards to the corruption, another justice, Justice Markande Katju, spoke to Justice Patnaik on the phone. And after his conversation with Justice Patnaik, he comes out and he says ki all of this information or misinformation that the media is spreading about what Justice Patnaik said, it amounts to fake news. Because according to Justice Patnaik, no journalist had sought an appointment with him or called him to discuss the matter. Only one journalist from the Indian Express had called him and he had spoken to that journalist for less than 1 minute. That is all that had basically happened. And he had not said anything that the media is telling or the media is publishing that he had said. So this is very, very interesting because now the sort of leftist ecosystem is creating this this narrative that every major institution of India has been compromised. क्योंकि उन्होंने स्टार्ट किया कि भाई हम टॉपिक बाय टॉपिक शुरू करते हैं, हम लिंचिस्तान से शुरू करते हैं, हम अवार्ड वापसी से शुरू करते हैं, हम इंटॉलरेंस शुरू करते हैं, हम काउ लिंचिंग शुरू करते हैं, हम ये शुरू करते हैं, वो शुरू करते हैं, जर्नलिस्ट अंडर अटैक शुरू करते हैं. नाउ देव जस्ट गॉन फुल मॉन्टी, बिकॉज ये सारे जो इन्होंने नैरेटिव पुश करने की कोशिश की, देव ऑल बीइंग डिबंक्ड to one extent or the other. अब ये कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि अच्छा now let's just go full on, पूरा full monty जाते हैं. भारत के जितने भी बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, they're all under attack. They've all been compromised. They're all infiltrated with sanghis. They're all infiltrated with traitors, and they are trying to remove honest people like Alok Verma, who are just trying to do their jobs, because Alok Verma was going to investigate Rafael, which, by the way, the CBI cannot do on its own. So that's my opinion of what is happening here, that they're trying to make that one big final push before the elections. What is your take on it, Kushal bhai?
It's pretty much the same. What I want to add to this is another case of weird sort of untouchability practiced in India. You know, every time somebody says India does not have untouchability anymore, I disagree with them. The left in India practices untouchability. So what kind of untouchability is it? You are a feminist until you agree with the left.
Yeah.
You are a good judge giving amazing judgments until the judgments are in, are in the league of what is considered okay by the left wing of India. If you deviate from that, then you are an untouchable. They will malign your character. They will destroy your life. They will go after you by every means possible. So this case of Justice Sikhri, right, is another case where the left has gone after him. They have spoken ill about him. They have said, why did he do this? Why did he do that? He was offered a post, but भाई उनको कभी ऑफर की गई थी पोस्ट? ये जो डिसीजन लिया गया था, इसका तो कोई कनेक्शन था ही नहीं उससे. And this is a typical culture which has become a norm in India and Indian politics, and the Indian left has to be blamed completely. This is actually the left wing style worldwide. आप ये देखो ना, वो ब्रेट क्या नाम है यार, वो कैवेना था ना जो अमेरिका में. भाई क्या हो गया? उस जैसे ही उन्होंने उसको डिक्लेयर किया, they could not go after his judgments. They went after his character. Now, I don't want to comment about whether that female had a case or not, but there is a clear-cut trend in India. I mean, let us take Atal Bihari Vajpayee as an example. When Vajpayee ji was considered the prime minister, आप तब की newspaper clippings देखो ना, आप सिर्फ निकालो वाजपेयी फैशिस्ट, वाजपेयी हिटलर, वाजपेयी हर बुरी चीज, ठीक है. अभी मोदी जी आते हैं तो वाजपेयी, ओ वो क्या दिन थे सर. वाजपेयी जी वाज अ स्टेट्समैन. अभी मैं वेट कर रहा हूं जब योगी आदित्यनाथ या कोई भी बंदा नेक्स्ट पोस्ट मोदी एरा में आएगा, मोदी विल बी द स्टेट्समैन ऑफ इंडिया. यार वो अच्छे थे. तो ये एंडलेस है. इस चीज को अगर एनालाइज करना है तो इसको बड़ी सिंपल है. ये रिलीजन है, और पीपल माइट से बार बार रिपीट क्यों करता है? ये रिपीट करनी पड़ती है बात, क्योंकि आपके मन में ड्रिल होना पड़ेगा कि दिस इज अ रिलीजियस आइडियोलॉजी एट वर्क. These are religious people who are exclusivist in nature. They are not dharmic. They are the most adharmic people living on planet Earth. They are intolerant. They cannot tolerate any deviation from their point of view. And if you deviate even an inch from their point of view, they will destroy your life, malign your character, and call you all sorts of names. And this is another case of that. And it personally hurts my sensibilities, because इंस्टीट्यूशंस को डिस्ट्रॉय करने की आप बात कर रहे हो. किसने डिस्ट्रॉय किया इस देश की इंस्टीट्यूशन को? सीबीआई को किसने किया? कांग्रेस. हर सीवीसी को किसने डिस्ट्रॉय किया? कांग्रेस. अरे आपने तो एक कल्चर लाया इस देश में हर इंस्टीट्यूशन को बेवकूफ बनाने का, हर इंस्टीट्यूशन को प्लायबल बना के रखने का. 1970 से पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स की रिकमेंडेशंस आई जा रही है, वन आफ्टर द अदर कमीशंस पे. क्यों नहीं कांग्रेस ने लाए पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स? पुलिस की इंस्टीट्यूशन को डिस्ट्रॉय किसने किया है? कांग्रेस ने किया है कि बीजेपी ने किया है? मैं तो बीजेपी को अवार्ड नहीं दे रहा हूं कि वो भी कुछ कर नहीं रहे हैं उस रिकमेंडेशंस के ऊपर. पॉइंट है कि कांग्रेस के मुंह से बात कर रही है. किसने किया है इस देश में? अब पॉइंट ये है कि इंस्टीट्यूशंस के ऊपर डिस्कस करना है, एंड वी वांट टू डिस्कस द लेवल ऑफ आवर इंस्टीट्यूशंस. लेट अस हैव अ ऑनेस्ट बाइपार्टिसन डिस्कशन. This is not about the BJP or Congress. The Congress has no locus standi, man. Congress किस base पे बोल रही है? Congress should be ashamed of itself. They are the reason of the mediocrity in India. इंडिया की मीडियोक्रिटी का सोल रीजन कांग्रेस पार्टी है. दैट्स माय व्यू. आई डोंट नो व्हाट्स योर व्यू.
That's exactly what my view is as well. कि अब हम हमारे पास we're clutching at straws. There's that expression, we're clutching at straws. So that is what is happening with the Congress right now. जैसा कि मैंने पहले कहा, इलेक्शन आने वाले हैं. इन्होंने पिछले 5 साल से every year they come up with a new hashtag. लिंचिस्तान, दिस्तान, देश खतरे में है, जर्नलिज्म खतरे में है, मुसलमान खतरे में है, मुसलमान डरा हुआ है. All of those things are coming out. In another example of मुसलमान डरा हुआ है, recently there was a video where some guy went in Delhi's Khayala, some डरा हुआ मुसलमान went to a Hindu family's house and stabbed their entire family. तो इतने तो लोग डरे हुए हैं पहली बार. But so उस बात वही है ना कि आप keep throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. That is what the Congress's strategy has come down to. Congress की जो strategy है is basically throw everything at the wall and देखो क्या चिपकता है दीवार पे. And that is what they're doing right now. Now they've thrown everything and nothing really has stuck. So what they're doing now is the equivalent of throwing the kitchen sink. Now they're throwing the kitchen sink. They're taking the kitchen sink. They're saying, हमारे courts completely compromised है, हमारे CVC completely compromised है, हमारी CBI completely compromised है, देश के सभी institution पूरी तरह से compromised है. और जैसा कि कुशल भाई ने अभी बताया, ये जो compromise है, ये पिछले 5 साल में शुरू नहीं हुआ है. ये compromise बहुत सालों से शुरू हुआ है और ये compromise बहुत सालों से चल रहा है. तो बात हमें इस बात पे करनी चाहिए कि हम अब इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ठीक कैसे करें रादर देन कि किसने ये कॉम्प्रोमाइज शुरू किया है, बिकॉज आई थिंक द होल कंट्री नोज एट दिस पॉइंट कि किसने ये कॉम्प्रोमाइज शुरू किया है. तो नाउ वी नीड टू फिगर आउट व्हाट वी नीड टू डू नेक्स्ट रादर देन पॉइंट फिंगर्स, बिकॉज आई डोंट थिंक the Congress has any right to point fingers at anybody in this case. That is the point that I think that we're trying to make.
I want to add one more aspect that worries me the most in rhetoric like this. It does not matter which political party does it. I have a fundamental philosophical problem with rhetoric like this. Politicians, especially Congress politicians, need to realize every time they behave like this, they make the janta more cynical about the system in general. It's not healthy for our country. It's not healthy for our society that we become so cynical about everything. Institutions are weak, boss. If they are weak, you should talk about how do we make them strong. But every time, if political parties keep talking about this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, people will stop having any faith in democracy and these concepts at a fundamental level. And these are the kinds of lies that lead to fascistic dictatorships in societies. But because what happens when people lose faith in everything? They crave strongmen.
Yeah.
And when you crave strongmen, you get Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
And we don't want to become North Korea in this country, where the guy will come and say, yes, all institutions are bad, elect me, I will fire all of them and fix them. It never works out. No society has solved their problems like this. And in fact, I want to request everyone, please don't fall for this. If anything, blame the politicians and tell them, fix them democratically. We don't want a strong man. That's the message we should send them. It worries me a lot. In fact, it scares me. If there is one thing that keeps me up at night on odd occasions, is this kind of rhetoric. It does not matter which political party does it. We have to be bipartisan when it comes to this. We have to push the politicians. And in fact, the one thing I really like about Modi is he tries to strengthen these things. I don't know how many. The one trend that I observe in Narendra Modi's speech is this. That's why I like that aspect of Narendra Modi. What's your view?
I do. I see this in America. In the US, you see this a lot. The kind of cynicism that exists in people towards their government. Like year by year, there are these polls that different organizations conduct, and year by year, the sort of faith that the American people have in their government is declining. It is because of this endless barrage of mudslinging by one party towards the other and vice versa, and that has been happening over the past 5 to 10 years in America, it's just completely endless, and it is just escalating, and there is no sign of de-escalation. There is no sign of dialogue. There is no sign of, acha, let's sit down and try and figure it out. There's no sign of that over the horizon. Kahin bhi nahi hai. So the only thing that is in the forecast for the future is more mudslinging, more, more of that throat slitting, more of that cutthroat nonsense. So people are going to lose more faith in the government, like you said, and that we're seeing that very, very clearly. And in America, people react differently. Some people are going full left, some people are going full right. So on the right, you have people that are forming private militias because they're saying, oh, the government will fall any day. So they are creating little private armies all over the country. On the left, people are losing their minds in different ways, which we'll talk about when we talk about things we like and things we hate. So it's it's I think, yeah, at the end of the day, it can't be good for a democracy for people to lose faith in its elected representatives. I don't think it's going to be a good thing. Okay, now I want to talk about something which is sort of related to this, and sort of related to, outrage culture, related to virtue signaling culture that we live in today. 2019, 2018, 2019. It's pretty peak. 2016 to today, at least, at this point in time, it's pretty peak, outrage culture, peak virtue signaling culture. And to signify and to give a great example of this outrage culture and, वर्चू सिग्नलिंग कल्चर, अभी हाल में ही कॉफी विद करण के एक एपिसोड पे, व्हाट्स हिज नेम, पांड्या, हार्दिक पांड्या एंड केएल राहुल वेंट एज गेस्ट. वहां पे करण जौहर ने उनकी रोमांटिक लाइफ के बारे में कुछ सवाल पूछे, तो केएल राहुल एंड हार्दिक पांड्या गेव देयर आंसर्स. And they said what their romantic life is like. They said what their relationships with women have been like. And most of the what, what I found interesting, more, most of the talking Hardik Pandya was doing, most of the controversial said things that was said by Hardik Pandya. But बेचारा केएल राहुल प्री में लपेट में आ गया उसमें. He was just sitting in his corner minding his own business. He was just going like, हाँ जी, हाँ जी. वो बेचारा वो फालतू में लपेटे में आ गया. So that was something that I found very interesting, but eventually caused a huge uproar, huge furor. A lot of people got very upset. Leftists went after him in a big way. BCCI slapped him on the wrist, gave him a show cause notice. Gillette broke their partnership with Hardik Pandya, and everybody is like, "Oh my God, what a misogynist! How can somebody that hates women so much be allowed to play cricket?" First of all, he's a great cricketer, so that's why he should be allowed to play cricket. But I don't think he hates women. Number two, but yeah, people basically went after him in a big way. They said he's a misogynist, he hates women, and he should not be allowed to play cricket. His career should be destroyed. Banish him, banish him. It reminds me of that scene in Game of Thrones where that lady is being walked on the ground, and there's this lady behind him with the bell. Shame, shame, shame. This is what we want. When something happens that we don't like, that is what we want. We want them to be paraded naked on the street and people throw stuff on their face, and for people to stand behind them shout, sharam karo, sharam karo, basically. That is what we want. That is the culture that we live in right now. First thing I want to get Kushal by your opinion on this, but first thing I want to say that the left has complained for such a long time कि भाई बहुत double standards है society में when it comes to men and women, which is true. The point that they have made, it's true. I believe in the past that there have been double standards when considering men and women, that there are different standards for men, different standards for women. But I think what is happening now is the left still wants double standards. They still want those double standards, but they want those double standards reversed. उनको डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स को बस उल्टा कर देना है. So, for example, Hardik Pandya said, ki, bhai, yeah, I sleep with a lot of women and so on and so forth. But if Coffee with Karan Pe, there was a woman who went on and said, I sleep with a lot of men. I've slept with 100 men. She would be celebrated among the leftist circles. People would have said, look, what a sexual revolutionary this woman is. What a emancipated woman. What a great liberated woman this is. This is a true feminist. She doesn't care about what society thinks. She sleeps with who she wants. We would have celebrated that woman in the left. But just because a guy is saying it, he's a misogynist. He's a horrible person. He has no respect for women. So what we're trying to do is not trying to get rid of double standards. We are trying to spin that double standard on its own head. What do you think?
So I want to start by making a clear statement. I don't like what Hardik Pandya said. I think the way he spoke was crass,
Yeah.
idiotic. But let us take everything one by one. Hardik Pandya is 25 years old. Very important. He's a 25-year-old guy. If you know anything about science, human frontal lobe literally gets developed by the age of 25.
Just to add to something you said, really quickly, I want to mention as well, then I'll let you quickly make your point, that just to add to what Kushal Bhai is saying, Hardik Pandya studied till class 9 in Surat. Then he moved to Baroda as a kid and he played cricket there. And at age 22, just by the age of 22, he became one of the best cricketers in the world. Okay? So he became very successful and fairly rich by a very, very young age. And he spent most of his life just concentrating on one skill, and that is becoming one of the best cricketers in the world. And now, at even today, even after being in the Indian team, he's still only 25. So go ahead, Kushal bhai.
Yeah, so first point, obviously he's 25, so the guy obviously needs a lot of maturity in his in the way he talks and he expresses himself. So I was not surprised when I heard him say the things he said. Whatever, that's, I mean, I condemn what he said, but what worries me is this, तुमने बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया कि पहले जमाने में क्या होता था, जब गाँव में होते थे या छोटे शहरों में, जब कोई आदमी बेवकूफाना हरकतें करता था तो उसका क्या करते थे, जूते या चप्पल का हार पहनाते थे, मुंह को
गधे पे बिठाते थे
और गधे पे बिठाते थे खुद, और उसको पंजाबी में बोलते खोते खोते बिठाते चलाओ गांव से, तो उसको पिंड में चलाते थे खोते पे बिठा के, और फिर उसको मतलब पीछे से भी जुतियां मारते थे लोग. अब हमने गांव में होते थे 3000 लोग, 2000 लोग, 500 लोग, ठीक है, वो गांव का मॉब जस्टिस था, क्योंकि मे बी हम लोग लॉ एंड ऑर्डर बेस्ड सोसाइटीज में रहने के आदी नहीं हो गए. ये सोशल मीडिया मॉब मेंटालिटी आ गई है. मैं आपको हार्दिक पंड्या को समझाने के लिए एक और एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ. आई थिंक 2-3 साल हो गए, एक there was this white female, Caucasian female. She was about to get on a flight to South Africa. Once again, I don't support her tweet. I didn't even find it funny. But she said I think what her tweet was, about to get on a flight to South Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS, emoji or LOL something. उसने अपना फोन बंद कर दिया. अमेरिका से साउथ अफ्रीका की फ्लाइट तो बड़ी लंबी है, या अफ्रीका की जिधर भी वो जा रही थी. I don't remember the destination, but it was somewhere in Africa.
I think she said, LOL, I'm white.
Yeah, LOL, I'm white. So, she was making fun of herself, basically. By the time she lands, पहाड़ फट गया, कायनात फट गई. मेरे को लगता है पता नहीं बहुत सारे लोग पॉवर्टी की वजह से मर गए होंगे उस दिन, उसके ट्वीट की वजह से. उस बंदी की लाइफ बर्बाद हो गई है. She can't find a job. Career has been, whatever little career she had is destroyed. Let us take another recent example. James Damore goes into a Google diversity class. The diversity class says, please give us suggestions how we get more women in tech. He, being a typical nerd that James Damore is, he reads the literature, writes a beautiful note and says, basically ये problem है, ज़्यादा औरतें आएंगी नहीं इस फील्ड में. And these are the problems, and I think we could do these things. Fired from Google. I mean, you should see James Damore and his interviews. He's such a shy human being. It's quite obvious he's a nerd. I mean, he's the quintessential nerd that is shown in movies in Hollywood. Now I want to connect it to Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya is a young, brash guy who made some stupid, idiotic comments. But punishment की एक सीमा होती है कि नहीं? I was listening, or I read some tweet somewhere of this female Adalji, क्या पता नहीं, Diana Adalji शायद, बोलती he should be banned for life. हाँ? किसके लिए? इसके लिए? Boss, you're playing cricket. The sole criteria should be a cricketing performance. Now, I don't follow cricket a lot these days, but he seems to be a decent player. And I think the World Cup is this year. We need the all-rounder, Hardik Pandya. He's a very good T20 player from what I was looking at his stats. Decent. I won't say out of this world. But the point is, क्या पागल हो गए हैं क्या लोग? Then look at the things he has to suffer. Now we are into virtue signaling mode. ठीक है? तो अभी गौरव कपाड़िया जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी ऑफ खारजिम खाना हैज रिवोक्ड हिज ऑनररी मेंबरशिप. ये क्या पागल लोग हो यार. It's not gonna end. जिलेट ने उससे चलो डिसोसिएट कर लिया. I get it, you know. Right now the brands must be thinking, oh, I don't know if the people will like it or not. We can't associate with you. Okay, get it. But boss, don't destroy his cricket career. As Sham has said, बंदा 9th पास है, उसको तो किधर नौकरी भी नहीं मिलेगी. वो करेगा क्या? उसको अगर खेलना ही नहीं दोगे, क्या करोगे? और ठीक है, उसने बेवकूफी की. He apologized for it. Maybe he'll not say it again. Hopefully not. But the point is, there is a limit, boss. He's a cricket player. वो क्रिकेट खेल रहा है. Judge him by his cricketing skills. Unless he's not a murderer or some kind of crazy rapist. He made some stupid comments. Let it go. And believe me, OpIndia podcast is the last place we would be discussing cricket or anything like that. But I genuinely want to talk about it. Boss, when we go to the World Cup in 2019, we should be with our best team. It does not matter. He's been punished enough. You know, everybody started. Gavaskar made a comment. Good, the BCCI has punished him.
Yeah.
But ठीक है ना, हो गया. अब क्या basically what is happening is, boss, social media में mob mentality है. आपको मिल गया, आपने अपनी फ्रस्ट्रेशन निकाल दी. ये आप एक और चीज आप बॉम्बे दिल्ली मेट्रोज में देखते हो ना, जिसको पब्लिक धुलाई बोलते हैं. आई एम श्योर एवरीबॉडी मस्ट हैव हर्ड दिस फिनोमेना ऑफ पब्लिक धुलाई. झगड़ा 2 लोगों का हो रहा है, 4 लोग और जाके उसको 4 अपने कान के नीचे रसीद करके चले जाते हैं. क्यों? तू क्या किया? पता नहीं यार, मजा आ रहा था, मैंने भी हाथ धो लिया बहती गंगा में. ये लोग सोशल मीडिया की बहती गंगा में हाथ धो रहे हैं. हर आदमी वर्च्यू सिग्नल कर रहा है. और ये इतनी डेंजरस चीज है, इतनी डेंजरस है. अगेन, आई ऑलवेज से दिस टू पीपल. बॉस, इफ यू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम विद समथिंग, very simple, you know, game. Put yourself in that situation. Think you are Hardik Pandya. Would you want the kind of mob lynching he's facing on social media to be done to you? There are boundaries. Does this case deserve the kind of lynching Hardik Pandya? Okay, ban him for a few matches, get it. In my case, he should have been fined financially for stupid statements. That's what I would have done. और बॉस, अब क्या बात कर रहे हो? इस कंट्री में अजरुद्दीन था, मैच फिक्सिंग हुई थी इस देश में. अजरुद्दीन आज भी क्रिकेटिंग इवेंट्स में जाता है. क्या बात कर रहे हो यार? लोगों को मैच फिक्सिंग के लिए अक्यूज किया जाता है क्या? इसके लिए इसने कॉफी विद करण में जाकर बेवकूफाना बातें कर दी. क्या पागल हो गए क्या लोग?
एग्जैक्टली.
कितना बर्बाद करोगे उसकी लाइफ को?
वही सीधी सी बात है. आई थिंक एक सोशल मीडिया में एक टेंडेंसी मैंने देखी है पिछले कुछ सालों में, और ये सिर्फ इंडिया में नहीं है, ये हर जगह ये टेंडेंसी होती है, दैट आई हैव नोटिस्ड, कि पीपल लाइक, जैसे जो नॉर्मल लोग हैं ना, नॉर्मल पीपल लाइक टू सी सक्सेसफुल पीपल ब्रॉट डाउन टू अर्थ. एक ये बहुत बड़ी टेंडेंसी है. there's a network in America called TMZ. TMZ का पूरा बिजनेस मॉडल ही यही है, bringing famous people down to earth. So they go and film these people in, you know, when they're stressed out, they go and film these people outside of nightclubs, outside of restaurants. They harass them, they ask them, you know, very harassing questions, and then they laugh about it. They laugh, oh, look how fat this guy has become. Oh, look how silly. Oh, look how, you know, drugged out he was looking. And people love TMZ in America. Love watching it because they love watching these high and mighty, successful, rich people being brought down to earth. There's a huge tendency in social media of people wanting to see that, and I feel like that tendency is being applied to Hardik Pandya as well. He's a young, successful, rich guy who has worked very hard to get where he is. Cricket कोई ऐसा नहीं होता कि you don't have to practice and अपने आप you get into the Indian cricket team, become one of the best cricketers in the country, unless you spend every waking moment getting really, really good at playing cricket. So Hardik Pandya, whatever he has achieved because he works his ass off. That's why he has achieved it. And yes, he went on that show and said something really, really stupid. I agree. And I think what Kushal Bhai said should happen to him. But at the end of the day, what you need to understand as well is that women are attractive to successful people. They do. He's a young, relatively handsome, successful, rich guy. Guess what? Women are attracted to that. You might not like it. Maybe this is a sexist statement that I'm making, but this is what happens in the world. People are attracted to that. Okay, so uh, I just feel like this kind of mob lynching on social media that is happening is completely unwarranted. People need to people need to realize, and I think that's a very good point that you made, Kushal Bhai, about putting themselves in his shoes. If you were in his shoes, if you said something stupid, and people said that you should not be allowed to do something that you have worked your entire life to do, अपनी जिंदगी की अपनी पूरी एनर्जी जिस चीज में लगाई है, now you cannot do it because you said something stupid one time. एक बार आपने कहीं पे जाके you said something stupid, तो आपकी पूरी जिंदगी की जो मेहनत है भाड़ में जाए, डस्टबिन में जाए. ये कैसा जस्टिस हुआ यार? ये किस तरह का जस्टिस? He hasn't murdered anyone. This is not like OJ Simpson. This is Hardik Pandya. This is not OJ Simpson. You can't treat the guy like that. I think, you tell him off. Tell him कि यार तू 25 साल का है, इस तरह की बकवास ना किया कर, मुंह बंद रखा कर कुछ कुछ चीजों में, ठीक है? और थोड़ा इज्जत से बात किया कर औरतों के बारे में. Go tell him, sit him down. Somebody senior should sit him down, give him a talking to, and that should be that, man. I feel like, how much are you gonna hound this kid?
Yeah,
That's yeah. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. It's crazy, and I think it's a great lesson, and I'm going to connect to this mob mentality with something that I hate in our next segment too. So I think we should go to that segment
Okay,
because
let's go into that segment. Let's talk about things we liked and things we hated this week. So, since we're connecting to something that you hated, let's go to the hate first. What was something that you hated this week, Kushal bhai?
okay. So I think a couple of days ago, Amit Shah ji had tweeted that for anybody who's living under a cave or a rock, Amit Shah is the president of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So Amit Shah had tweeted that he has swine flu, and some people in the left wing made some very interesting tweets. Sham, can we share the tweets?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. So there is a handle on Twitter. I don't know, Autumn Rainwish, and the lady said, "God is dead. If God existed, trust me, you would definitely have gotten the swine flu way back in 2002. Please take as much time as it is humanly possible to recover from this sickness. And if you don't recover, may you never rest in peace." There were a couple of other tweets, one was made by a journalist from Quint, right?
Yeah.
People die of swine flu, right? And then there was one tweet made by Sunetra Chaudhary. Okay, I am not reacting, and people should realize why she is saying I am not reacting, because this is the same person who had reacted to Narendra Modi getting swine flu. I think it was sometime in the 2002 to 2004 period.
Yeah.
So again, I want to connect this to the same mentality that was being showcased in the case of Hardik Pandya too. I want to tell all these three women who have tweeted this, do one thing: the next time someone you like, someone you support, someone you care for, someone who's dear to you, they go through this situation, just flip it around, put someone else in that scenario, saying the same words to that person you like, you care, you defend for, or you are attracted to, and see how you will feel. Now, I might dislike Sonia Gandhi with a passion. I might never support Arvind Kejriwal politically. I might have 1,000 differences with people on the left. I will never wish this on them. There has to be some decency in political discourse in India. What has happened, and this is, I'm telling you, this is social media bringing out the animal. Before someone throws this accusation at me, oh, people sympathetic to the BJP have done it too. Well, I criticize them too. But let me tell you, The left is vicious when it comes to things like this. How can you wish death upon someone?
And
Just
again, it's a global phenomena too.
yes. I want to talk about that. It's a global phenomena. It happens everywhere in the world. People have lost their mind balance. And I am telling you, I blame social media for this. Before somebody, and again, you're going to be like, oh, Kushal is going after social media again. Yes, I am. Too bad. And I will go after social media because this does not happen in real life. Do you see someone in real life going, hi, tu mar ja? Sir, मैं बीमार हूं, हाय मर जा तू. ये कोई करता है क्या? ये किस किस्म का व्यवहार है? लोग पागल हो चुके हैं. लोग इसको सठिया जाना कहते हैं. मेरे हिसाब से लोग सोशल मीडिया पे आते हैं और वो सठिया जाते हैं. ये सठियाए हुई हरकतें हैं. आई डोंट नो हाउ पीपल बिहेव लाइक दिस. अरे भाई कभी तो 2 मिनट सोचो. यू नो समथिंग ब्यूटिफुल वाज टोल्ड टू मी बाय वामसी जिलूरी, प्रोफेसर वामसी जिलूरी. ही इज अ प्रोफेसर इन कैलिफोर्निया. आई हैड आस्क्ड हिम कि प्रोफेसर हमको ट्विटर पे ट्वीट करने के पहले एक क्या कोई रूल होना चाहिए? एंड ही हैड सेड समथिंग ब्यूटिफुल. ही सेड पहले तो ट्वीट करने के पहले पढ़ो, सोचो और पॉज करो, मगर एक थॉट हमेशा अपने मन में लाना कि आज से 20 साल बाद जब मैं और मेरे बच्चे मेरा ये सेम ट्वीट पढ़ेंगे, उनको कैसा लगेगा. आई थिंक एवरीवन, वेदर यू आर ऑन द लेफ्ट, राइट, सेंटर, नॉन लेफ्ट, व्हाटएवर, every time you tweet, do these two things. Think about what if I was that person facing the heat. And two, यार मेरे बच्चे अगर ये पढ़ेंगे तो बोलेंगे क्या कर रहे थे यार, दिमाग खराब था आपका. You know, even with me it happens on Facebook. There is this thing called memories. You know what you said few years ago. So I think I joined Facebook in 2010. And believe me, at times when I read my stuff in 2010, 11, 12, I was like, God, I was a idiot. What was I thinking? And I'm ashamed of myself. We change. I don't know what's happening. People they just bring their animal out on social media.
I also feel like though to just counter that a little bit as well. I feel like US में मैं देख रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे लोग अपने people are very happy for their kids to see what they're saying. They're very happy to get their kids involved. They're very happy to say ki kids, look, this guy, he's a fascist. He deserves to die. They're more than happy for their kids to see all the kind of nonsense that they're writing. And I wonder if that's the case with some of these crazy people in India as well. They'll be like, yeah, I'm more than, I want my kids to think that that guy's a fascist. I want my children, I want little children to be involved in this, because the left in America, at least, are more than happy to get children involved in politics and, put all these kinds of things in children's minds. So what do you think about that?
Well, I just think about that as bad parenting. If you're raising your kids as hate machines, that's the worst way to raise your children. You have to raise your kids to be compassionate, to be empathetic, to be loving, caring. That doesn't mean you become a stupid person and go to ISIS and says, I'll hug you. No, I'm not saying that. I mean, but there is a balance, right? कुछ तो draw करो और आप ये सोचो, आप अगर ट्विटर पे रोज जाके बस यही करते रहोगे, आप सिर्फ नफरत की रोटियां सेकते रहोगे, आपकी लाइफ कितनी अनहेल्दी है. कोई ये सोचता नहीं है क्या कि मैं सुबह उठता हूँ और आप ये सोचो, अगर आप सुबह उठते हो और ये सोचते हो मैं किसको गाली दूं, इसकी इंसल्ट करूं. What a horrifying way to start your day. I mean, am I the only one who thinks like this? Sometimes I really wonder, am I the only one who's worried about this?
I think some people are worried about it, but a lot of people get a lot of enjoyment out of it. बहुत सारे लोगों को, there's this rush that they feel when they tweet something nasty against people. They feel a kind of rush, when they say, I hope Trump dies, I hope Trump's plane crashes and he dies, and people like it. They feel very good about themselves because they get a lot of retweets, they get a lot of likes, a lot of people comment under it, preach sister, and they love it. They get that huge dopamine hit and they love it.
Yeah, it just sucks, man. Let's move on. Even talking about it right now has bothered me so much.
Yeah, so well, that's something that you hated. What was something that you liked this week?
Oh yes, this was the best thing that has happened after a long time. Obviously, this is sarcasm, so Sham gets it. So I came across a video by People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA or PETA, however you want to call them. And We are not going to show the video, but the video was hilarious. It was basically a bunch of men with, you know, fruits and vegetables on their genitalia, and they were dancing in very weird ways, which eventually culminated in them showing a message that you should go vegan. Now, I want to tell you why. I'm sorry, I can't control my laughter. Why I like this. So, I'm a non vegetarian. So, I have some news for Peter. This video has not worked on non vegetarians, Peter. What it has done is it has made the life of every single vegetarian a living hell. As a non-vegetarian, there is nothing that can give me more happiness than seeing every vegetarian on planet Earth watching that video and like, "Hi, मैं केला नहीं खा सकता अभी."
Yeah,
It
like
was so
it's
fun.
such a counterproductive video. Like, who's going to look at it? Who's going to look at a carrot, where the family jewels should be, and then be like, no, I want to have a carrot right now. Who's going to think that?
Imagine everybody looks at the brinjal and, and the different fruits and vegetables, and they go, "मैं तो brinjal खाना है आज. I'm gonna have eggplant today. Damn, I'm so inspired to have an eggplant." So let us keep this short and sweet, but I want to leave every vegetarian friend of mine with the image. Go vegan, guys.
Yeah.
Watch the video.
Go watch the video and don't sleep for the next 3 days.
So now, Sham, what are the things that you disliked and liked this week?
Okay, so let's go to dislike first. So there's this video that Gillette came out with. Gillette, the shaving company, they came out with a video. They said we believe the best men can be. So I'll share the video of it a little bit with you, and just bear with me. So this is a video which was shared by Gillette a few days ago, which was talking about toxic masculinity and how toxic masculinity is completely pervasive within the men in the world today, and how men can do better. So let me play a little bit of this video for you.
You can't hide from it.
And sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. You can't laugh it off.
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But some things finally change.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men. Men need to hold other men accountable.
So basically, this is the video. You can go and watch the rest of the video if that's what you really want to do with your life. So you can go and watch the rest of the video. And I find this video very, very interesting, because is the company trying to commit suicide? Because Gillette makes freaking razors mostly for men. It's mostly men that buy, unless I'm completely wrong about their business model, but as far as I'm aware, Gillette razors are usually bought by men. And so if they're going to men and they're saying, "Oh, all of you guys are horrible. All of you guys are terrible. All of you guys, need to be better, need to get rid of your toxic masculinity," and so on and so forth. Even if there are people who buy Gillette razors who have never disrespected women, even if there are people who have bought Gillette razors who are wonderful sons, wonderful husbands, wonderful brothers, wonderful boyfriends, so on and so forth. So this kind of clubbing of every kind of, just because there's been this Me Too movement, there's tons of men who support women in these Me Too movements. So this kind of clubbing in, men need to stop being men. Men need to stop being masculine, because masculinity is toxic. If you're a man, if you act like a man, if you speak like a man, if you talk like a man, if you walk like a man, that makes you a bad person, because being a masculine man is horrible. And the way you need to be is you need to be a beta male. You need to be a beta male feminist, which is the way men should be right now. And it's a strange message, man, from a company that sells razors to men. What do you think, Kushal bhai?
Actually, I want to talk about this by starting by reading a tweet by Clay Routledge. He's a professor. He wrote something beautiful. I'm going to read his tweet. He said, "We are living in an era of woke capitalism in which companies pretend to care about social justice
That's right.
to sell products to people who pretend to hate capitalism." Beautiful, isn't it?
It is. That's exact. Another example is the Nike Colin Kaepernick ad. That's another example.
Yeah.
If
So,
people, sorry, just to clarify, if people have not seen that ad and people in India don't know what that ad is, Nike ने एक ad निकाला था क्योंकि यूएस में एक एथलीट है, उनका नेम है कॉलिन कैपर्निक, जो कि जब भी यूएस का नेशनल एंथम प्ले होता है एनएफएल के गेम्स में, तब वो खड़े नहीं होते नेशनल एंथम के लिए, वो घुटने टेकते हैं, which is considered to be a sign of protest. A lot of people support him and a lot of people don't like him because of that reason. So Nike ने एक ad निकाला था जिसमें Colin Kaepernick की फोटो थी, and Colin Kaepernick was featured in that video, and it was all about how dissent is patriotic and basically all of that stuff. It was exactly what Kushal bhai just said. It is marketing these products to people that hate capitalism. Sorry, go ahead, Kushal bhai.
yeah, and I read another beautiful piece analyzing this issue just a few hours ago on Colette magazine, which was titled "Gillette's Progressive Politics: Corinthian Leather for Progressive," etc., etc. It's a long article. It's a really a nice article. You guys should go and check it out. But I think I agree with the analysis in that article. They are basically, the article is saying that a lot of these companies, what has happened is they have placed themselves in the high, the expensive bracket in the market share. If you look at Gillette, I mean, if you look at the price of a Gillette shaving razor blade in the American market, it's around $5 or something. And even in India, Gillette is quite expensive in comparison to the other. And the same thing is happening. They basically are losing market share to cheaper companies that are there in the market, which come from China or other countries. Now, what these people are doing is that we're not going to beat them in the price competition. Let us beat them in the wokeness thing. Yeah. And they think it's going to work with a certain segment. Because if you look at the woke folks in the West, at least, they are usually upper middle class or rich, spoiled, young brats. That's what they are. I call them velle philosophers. उनकी लाइफ में कोई रियल प्रॉब्लम तो है नहीं, वो कोई हमारे देशों में तो रहते नहीं है जिनमें रियल प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं. Pretty much developing nations have solved most of their problems.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face the facts.
Yeah.
तो ये वेले हैं, अब कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम चाहिए, तो नए नए शगुफे छोड़ते हैं. ये उस शगुफों की लाइन में एक और तमाशा है मेरे हिसाब से, और ये चलते रहेगा. देखते हैं कितने दिन चलता है ये. मगर it is entertaining to me, as an outsider who sits here and observes these things. I find it very entertaining. I was like, अच्छे वेले हो तुम, मतलब बड़ा टाइम है यार तुम्हारे पास, ये सब एडे बनाते हो. कोई मतलब मुझे इसका याद आता है कि पता एक एड आई थी स्प्राइट की. उनको स्प्राइट में एक कुछ तो एक्ट्रेस कुछ तो बकवास करती है, लास्ट में ना हिरजी के ऊपर जाता है, वो ऐसे स्पॉट बॉय या कैसे उसमें खड़ा है, वो एंड में बोलता है लोगों को पैसे दो, कुछ भी बोल डालते हैं. आई थिंक ये जो सिम्टम है ना, ये वो है. एड एजेंसीज को ये सोशल जस्टिस वॉरियर्स ने पैसे दे दिए हैं, या पैसे लेने वाले लोग ये सोशल जस्टिस वॉरियर्स एड एजेंसीज में आ गए हैं, और ये लोग कुछ भी करते जा रहे हैं. और तमाशा यार, आप अमेरिका में जाओ किसी को, सी आई एम नॉट सेइंग, आई डू गेट द मैसेज ऑफ द एड, या बट यार तू शेविंग ब्लेड है, दाढ़ी का क्या कनेक्शन है उससे? मेरी दाढ़ी ने तेरा क्या बिगाड़ा भाई? तू अच्छा ब्लेड बना और मेरे को दे. मैं तो इसके अभी, और इसका एक और मैं तुम्हें बताना चाहता था कि जो नाइकी की एड की आपने बात की थी ना, इट्स सो फनी. अभी इसका रिएक्शन क्या है? ये भी वर्च्यू सिग्नलिंग है.
That's right.
और जो मैं कचरे के डिब्बे में फेंक रहा हूँ मेरे जिलेट, मैं मेरा नाइकी का जूता चला रहा हूँ, वो पागल है क्या?
तुमने $200 खर्चा करके जूता खरीद तो लिया ही, पैसे तो चले गए नाइकी के पास, अब फेंकने का क्या फायदा?
ये क्या पागल लोग हैं? मतलब ये मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, सारे सठिया चुके हैं. ये एक वेले दूसरे वेले लड़ रहे हैं एक दूसरे से, उनके पास कोई रियल इश्यू नहीं है। मैं तो कितनी बार मेरे जो दोस्त होते हैं वेस्ट में जो ये बेवकूफाना ट्वीट्स करते हैं, मैं उनको मैसेज करता हूँ प्राइवेटली, डीएम करता हूँ, लेट अस स्वैप प्लेसेस। एक काम करता हूँ, मैं थोड़े दिन के लिए तेरे यहाँ रहता हूँ, तू थोड़े दिन के लिए मेरे यहाँ रह। तेरे को रियल प्रॉब्लम्स मिलेंगी ना जब तेरे को रियल झटका पड़ेगा लाइफ का, जब तुझे मालूम पड़ेगा गरीबी क्या होती है या रियल प्रॉब्लम्स क्या होती हैं, तो तुझे एहसास होगा कि तू कितना वेला है। मेरे को आज तक याद है, when I was studying in Canada, one of my professors, he actually did a tour of the world. He had gone to Russia, China. He did not go to India, but I remember him going there, and he came back, and then he addressed the class. He's like, I respect what I have far more today after visiting those nations than I ever had in my life. And I'm never going to complain about what they call first world problems. You know, there is a typical thing. So these are weird issues, and we should just look at them as citizens of India and laugh at them and mock them, which they deserve to be.
Yeah. Okay. So with something that I liked this week, and again, it's like the same way Kushal Bhai liked his thing, which is sarcastic. But I think Rahul Gandhi was somewhere overseas, and this goes in line with virtue signaling as well. So he was somewhere overseas, and he was busy virtue signaling, and he said this incredible gem. So let me share that with you really quickly. This incredible Anmol Ratan Rahul Gandhi ji ke.
Mahatma Gandhi picked up the idea of non-violence from ancient Indian philosophy, from Islam.
Mahatma Gandhi picked up the idea of non-violence from Islam. ये हैं हमारे राहुल गांधी जी के अनमोल रतन. तो I commented when I saw this first. I commented कि Mahatma Gandhi picked up the idea of non-violence from Islam, and I picked up the idea of vegetarianism from a crocodile. Basically, the crocodile ने मुझे सिखाया कि vegetarianism क्या होता है. And one thing is interesting is that the virtue signaling aspect of it, कि Islam is a religion of peace, जो कि which if I say this here, I'll get in trouble most likely. But go watch. There's a very good Bill Maher clip of he makes a joke on whether Islam is a religion of peace or not. It's a great joke. Look it up on YouTube. It's a great joke. I don't know if I'm permitted to say it here, but look it up. Okay. So first thing he says कि भाई Islam is a religion of peace. दूसरी चीज he says ancient Indian philosophy. इनसे बहुत लोगों से पता नहीं क्यों I notice कि इनसे हिंदू भी नहीं बोला जाता. But again, I just found it very enjoyable. As soon as I watched it, I chuckled to myself. मैंने कहा कि यार चाहे कुछ भी हो, but चाहे कितने भी पैरामीटर्स में इंडिया 10वें नंबर पे हो, 20वें नंबर पे हो, 100वें नंबर पे हो, लेकिन साला वर्च्यू सिग्नलिंग में ना हम लोग किसी से पीछे नहीं है. हम लोगों को हराना मुश्किल है. Like I know America tries very hard to virtue signal, but it's hard to beat Indians at virtue signaling. What do you think, Kushal bhai?
I think everybody virtue signals. That's not an issue. But to add to what you have said, I addressed this particular clip that you showed. In fact, I wrote a long article on OpIndia about it. It was called "Dear Rahul Gandhi, Stick to Spreading Nonsense About Hafal. Spare the religions." Now, I'll share my objections, which I had mentioned in the article. I think there are 2-3 layers to this. There is, I think, what Rajiv Malhotra coined a very nice word in his book. He called it the sameness disease. I think that it has actually the sameness disease in Indian society, especially Indian Hindus, where there's this typical mentality. I'm sure all of you who have discussions on dining tables or breakfast tables or your offices or buses or trains, and you say all religions are the same. Well, if all religions are the same, why are there different religions? I don't get it. We should have one world religion. We can call it, I don't know, Hindu, Islam, Christianity, or whatever. We can call them all, we can just, put all the alphabets together. It's not there. If all religions are the same, why do Abrahamic religions convert?
Yeah.
Now onto this aspect of, religions are peaceful. I'm sorry, what do you mean by peaceful? If by peaceful, there can only be one connotation, that your religion is actually pacifistic. that your religion believes in no violence, no matter what. And I've got news for people, and I say this clearly in my article on OpIndia. There is only one religion on planet Earth that can claim to be peaceful by that criteria, and that is Jainism. There is no other religion, it includes Hinduism, that can claim that we don't believe in any kind of violence. Every religion sanctions violence in different ways.
But I think you can still be peaceful and believe that violence is required on certain occasions, in certain situations where it's unavoidable. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you don't
self-defense.
advocate peace, but it means that you're a pragmatist.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And let us take what Rahul Gandhi spoke about Gandhiji. Now, I'm not someone who's anti-Gandhi. Actually, I'm a Gandhi admirer. But I want to read something Gandhi had said once. He advised the Jews. He said, "If I were a Jew and born in Germany, I would claim Germany as my home, even as the tallest genteel German may, and challenge him to shoot me or cast me in the dungeon. And suffering voluntarily undergone will bring them an inner strength and joy. The
Huh.
calculated violence of Hitler may even result in a general massacre of the Jews by way of his first answer to the declaration of such hostilities." I don't want to read the rest of the quote, but you get the gist. गांधी जी का बेसिक मैसेज था, कुछ भी हो जाए अपने आप को मरवा दो. गांधी जी ने ये इस्लाम से कहाँ सीख लिया? Now, if you don't believe me, well, I'm not going to read the verses, but you can go to the Quran and read Surah Al-Baqarah 2.191, Surah Al-Imran 3.151, Surah Al-Imran 3.157. You can read these verses. You can go on OpIndia. I have mentioned these verses of the Quran in the article itself. Also, if all religions are the same, can somebody explain Islam believes idolatry is a problem, a big letters will go 54, Surah Al-Ma'idah 5.90. Now, if all religions are the same, Islam says Hindus will go to hell for idolatry. So all religions are not the same. It's okay to be different. We should celebrate diversity. What the problem arises is religious people tend to have this romanticized version of their religion. I call it cafeteria religiosity. I'll pick the idli in one religion, I will pick the dosa in another religion, and I'll make this weird mishmash. And also the sameness disease stems from this ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. Truth is one, wise call it by different people. Well, the Hindus claim that, the Abrahamic religions say the truth is one, I have the truth, you shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So it's just a muddled up issue. Religions are different, and different religions will talk about different things, and different problems will emanate out of different religions. So it is not necessary that the problem that emanates out of Hinduism and Jainism will be the same and will be similar to the problems that emanate out of Christianity and Islam. So it's a load of bollocks is what I can say. It's stupid. It's just another case of Rahul Gandhi saying, all religions preach non-violence. No, they don't. Religions preach violence. Religions preach non-violence. Religions preach everything. Religious books are just man-made, things. And I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but too bad.
No, and I don't just blame religious people for all this sameness nonsense as well. A lot of this sameness nonsense is propagated by these committed atheists and these leftists as well. A lot of this propaganda they spread. They themselves don't believe in it, but they'll go around saying, "Oh, look how beautiful Islam is. Look how beautiful Christianity is." They'll go celebrate Christmas. They'll go celebrate Eid, but they'll come around and say, "Oh, no. We are Marxists. We don't believe in any sort of religion. But look how beautiful Islam is. Look how there is." This sort of atheist Marxist people are also, if not more, at least equally complicit in spreading this everything is the same nonsense.
I'll just push back on this and say Marxists are not atheists. They are as religious as the religious people are. I think that this disease of sameness is only a typical religious. We have associated religiosity with something supernatural. I think we need to upgrade the religion definition. Religiosity is a trait where people tend to cling on to absolute statements and they don't budge from them.
Yeah.
Religiosity is where you just don't, have any flexibility to
So, what
everything.
would you say to that atheist claim when people say that, oh, all the religions are bullshit, but they're all equally bad? They're all equally horrible.
That's
That's the
also a
claim that
very
they stick
stupid
to,
claim.
and they don't move from that claim.
That's a very stupid claim. All
Yeah.
religions are not equally bad. Different religions are bad on different scales. And I mean, I'm an atheist. I'm saying it. It's irrational to say all religions are equally bad. It makes no sense. The atheists who say that are as illiterate as the theists who say atheism is a religion.
Yeah. Well, do you think it behaves like a religion?
No.
Yes.
Individual people who happen to be calling themselves atheists behave religiously. They have a religion of progressivism. They
Yeah.
have, in many cases, the religion of Marxism. But if you meet a well-read, thinking atheist, you'll never see such characteristics from them. You don't see Sam Harris behave like this.
Yeah.
Never. You never saw a Christopher Hitchens behave like this. You never see a Dawkins behave like this. You never see a Peter Boghossian behave like this. You never see Charwak behave like this. This is a
I don't know.
new
I haven't met a
religion.
lot of Charvas, so I don't know how they behave.
Well, you should meet me someday.
Yeah. I know how you behave as an individual, but I don't know if everybody behaves the same way because I met a lot of these. I've met a lot of people who have that same idea that you were talking about. That oh, they're all equally bad, they're all equally horrible, and the Hindus are just as horrible as anybody else. And it's almost impossible to argue with them on that point as well because they're in that mode where they're just like la 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 la. I can't hear you. It's all bad.
Yeah, they're
So
religious nut jobs.
yeah.
That's what I call them. They're religious nut jobs. They are individually religious people. They don't cling on to the religion of atheism. They cling on to the religion of progressivism and wokeness.
Yeah, progressivism and wokeness is true. So that was something that I really enjoyed this week. So in this episode, you'll probably notice today, guys, there was a lot of wokeness. There was a lot of there was a lot of progressivism. There's a lot of love for everybody, and there was a lot of ruining careers over small statements. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I am, as usual, I'm going to leave Kushal Bhai with the final thoughts. But before I do that, I want to make sure to let you know that if you enjoyed today's podcast, please make sure to subscribe to the OpIndia YouTube channel. I've seen that quite a few of you have subscribed, so I want to thank you for doing that. And if you have not subscribed already to the OpIndia YouTube channel, please make sure to do so you're up to date with the latest content that we put out and all the new podcasts that come out as well. We're going to make sure to have these podcasts available as audio only episodes as well. It'll happen most likely this week, so keep an eye out for that. We'll make sure to share it on our pages and on the OpIndia page as well. All right, I will see you guys. We will see you guys for the podcast next week. Keep an eye out for that, and I will leave you with Kushal Bhai with the final thoughts as usual.
Okay, guys, I have a personal request once again for all of you. Please send us feedback. So, now we've been doing this podcast weekly, and I was thinking that if you email us at feedback@opindia.com, I want you to send me some views on. See, you have been listening to us. We are talking about different issues. Now, maybe some of my views might have triggered you. Maybe some of Sham's views might have triggered you. You may not agree with us. We want to hear from you that what are those specific points that you don't like? Maybe what we can do is that if we interact like this with each other, where, you guys come back at us that, I did not really like what Kushal said over here. Maybe, we can talk about these very issues, your problems, your specific complaints, in future podcasts, and that could create more clarity on those issues, because I believe that is a very important thing. That way we grow as individual human beings and the podcast becomes more interesting and it becomes more interactive. Because look, while we are doing this live chat, sometimes it's very hard for me to reply to you all on the live chat on the spot. But whosoever watches, I would request you, please email us. And obviously I want to end the podcast by saying this cannot happen without monetary support. I'm going to say this on every podcast, every time. Please support OpIndia financially. Whatever little amount you can give, whether it's 100 rupee, 50 rupee donation, और 1 करोड़ रुपया है तो दे दो भाई. But please support opindia.com. They are doing amazing work. We need to support them. We need to push them to become even bigger. So I'll leave you guys on that note. So have a great time, guys. Goodbye and good night.
All right, good night. We will see everybody next week. Have a good weekend.